Hello and welcome to Box Free with Stephanie. Today I want to show you how to make some basic foods with simple ingredients from scratch, and I hope you discover cooking box free is fast and delicious. So let's cook together. Today we're going to make artichoke dip with crostinis. So I've got my little baguette here, and that's the very first thing I'm going to start right now is my crostinis, so that maybe everything will be done together. Crostinis are a really good thing to do with leftover or stale kind of older bread, because this is like really nice bread right now. It's not like old or stale. And I'm going to make it like rock hard, so it seems kind of silly to wreck my beautiful baguette. But we're going to, because it's going to end up being really good with our little crostinis. But I'm thinking I'm just going to use this much of it. And you know, I didn't even use the whole thing. Like some baguettes are super long, like this one. So I'm just going to put this little guy over here for now. And then what you do is make, you know, 1/4 inch thick slices, and then you just put them on your pan, and then we're going to brush them with olive oil, put a little salt, like that's it. It's really pretty easy. And my pan is pretty big, I guess, but that's okay. And then I'll move this over here right now too. Okay, so now I'm going to take some olive oil, and you know, it depends on how many crostinis you have, but like a tablespoon or two, and then you're really just gonna dab it on each one. And if you didn't have a brush, I don't know what you could use. I've thought about like dipping them, almost like you dip French toast or whatever, but I don't know if it would work. And if you didn't have a brush, suppose you could like drizzle. If you're good at drizzling, you could just drizzle it on. There's really no like wrong way to do it. And I've never made crostinis without olive oil, because sometimes I wonder, like, does the olive oil make them really crisp, or is it just that they're baked until they're like rock hard? Okay, so that's one coating. Then I flip them all over, okay? And then I'm going to do my second side, and then we're going to throw them in the oven, and then I don't flip them over in the oven. I just wait until they are golden and pretty much hard as a brick. So hey, you can't overbake them. I was going to say you can't overbake them, but you can. You'll see what I end up with today, because you never know. But sometimes they get like really brown, like almost chocolate brown, which is a little more than golden. So I would say you can overbake them, but in general, it's, you know, you just bake them till they're really kind of rock hard. And then I think that's what you want with that, with like a dip, like artichoke dip. But I also think that you could use these for bruschetta or like an olive tapenade, any kind of coating that your topping you wanted on your little crostinis. And these work really good to keep for a little while. So you could make a whole thing, use your whole entire baguette, like I did not. And you would, you'd be just fine, because it's not like you have to eat them right away. I mean, now they're hard and they're good to go, so you can keep them a while. Okay, so before I put them in the oven, I'm going to use my sea salt, which doesn't really shake out of here very well. So what I've realized is I like to put some in here, and then I can have more control over how many go on there, because I'm trying to like shake that thing out of there. Then I could get like 20 grains or 3, and so this way I can actually see how many are going on there. Because sometimes it seems like it can be a little bit too salty. Oh my gosh, and I have a ton left in my bowl. But, so I don't know if you can see how many are on there, but you just want, and I like the coarse grind just for the fun of it. If you don't have any of that, just use table salt and it'll be fine. So I'm going to pop these in. This is preheated to 400. And I'm not going to set my timer, which is a little bit dangerous, but in theory, I should be opening my oven in a few minutes to put my artichoke dip in, so it shouldn't be a problem. Let's see if that actually works out for me today. I gotta get rid of that olive oil, these little things. Okay, so now I'm gonna make my artichoke dip. So I've got a can of artichokes, artichoke hearts that are not marinated, just the canned ones, and this is a 14-ounce can. My original recipe called for an 8-ounce can, but I couldn't really find one in the store. So I was like, well, why can't I just use a 14-ounce? You know, I just manipulated it myself. So I'm going to dump these out and let these kind of just sit and strain for a while, because I really do want all the moisture that I can get to get out of there. Now I'm going to do, I don't know that this is going to work, a full block of cream cheese, and this has been sitting out for a good hour, hour and a half, so it's nice and soft. So we're going to dump that in, okay, and then I do half a cup of mayo and half a cup of sour cream, and there's, ooh, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh boy, that's really funny. Wish it would have fallen the other way. That's all right, we'll just clean it up a little bit because I'm probably going to end up getting it all messy. Okay, so half a cup of cream cheese or sour cream. What was I saying? Oh, there's a bunch of different recipes. Of course, everything has a bunch of different recipes. So mine calls for sour cream and mayo, but a lot of times they just call for mayo and parmesan. So, you know, whatever. You can, if you don't really love this dip, just make it the way you want. So, and my dip tends to be like not super saucy. I mean, I don't make this like a ton, so it's not like I make it every week and I can be like, oh, this is the perfect, today it was perfect and yesterday it wasn't, but you know, I've had this recipe forever, so it is kind of my like go-to for that. But I'm just saying, everybody kind of has different preferences, and I like how this is a little bit just not so saucy. It almost seems like granular to me, which I don't know, I suppose is that because I'm adding too much Parmesan? Whoo, I'm almost out. Okay, so 1 cup, right? 1 cup of Parmesan. Thank goodness I don't need any more. Okay, now I'm gonna do a garlic clove. And you can do more garlic if you really want a garlicky dip, but of course I don't, and I'm cooking, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I only do 1 fresh one. I don't know. Again, you can do it more, and if you don't have a fresh one, I'm sure garlic powder would work fine too. So, or skip it altogether. If for some reason you guys don't like garlic, you don't have to stick it in. Because when you make stuff from home, you can totally make it whatever you want. Okay, and I gotta squeeze out like every little bit of garlic. It's kind of ridiculous, but I like to do it that way. And then I already pulled off my skin, so I'm throwing my little leftovers right in there. Okay, so now before I add my, this is not gonna work either. Before I add my artichokes, I wanna get all of this stirred up really nicely. So it should be nice and easy because my cream cheese is supposed to be nice and soft here. And this is a little bit crazy with all this Parmesan cheese, because like if you get a little bit nutso and stir too fast, it just like, I don't know, in my kitchen it seems to fly out. So I'm trying to go a little bit slow so that I don't get the huge mess of Parmesan cheese all over my house. Okay, so the cream cheese makes it a little bit stiff, of course, right now. But then when you put it in the oven, in theory, it's supposed to get all melty and soft and delicious. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to try to get my big chunks out. Okay, so I'm going to say like that. Okay, so now my little artichoke guys, artichoke hearts, that's what they are. They're all pretty much, so I got more fluid out of there. Okay, so now I'm going to chop these up. All right. And these I do really want pretty fine because I don't really want like a big slice. you know, these skins are like, they can be a little bit hard or whatever. It depends on, I don't know, I guess the artichoke or whatever, you know, the quality maybe, but like sometimes they just seem a little bit, like this one feels really thick, you know, and so I certainly wouldn't want somebody to get like this huge chunk in their dip. So I do kind of take some time to chop it because they just seem a little bit like stubborn, I'd say, or else I need a really sharp knife. But I just want all those stiffer pieces to be cut up. And I've never done it like in the food processor. I think that would be like too much because you don't want it to be mushy. You want there to be like, you know, some chunks and like pieces. Okay, so I'm thinking that looks pretty good. I don't see any huge pieces. A couple right there. Okay, so we're gonna call that good. And then we're gonna mix it in, put it in our little pan and bake it, and like that's it. It's really pretty easy. And I have thought about adding like green onions and just the green tops. And I haven't done that. I was gonna do it today and I didn't. And then of course you can add spinach to this, you know, and make it a spinach artichoke dip. Oh shoot, I think I forgot. Okay, no, I did the salt. My dill. I was gonna do like a teaspoon of dill, which we'll just guesstimate, because this is also to taste. Like if you are a dill fan, you might want 2 or 3, but I'm gonna call that close enough to a teaspoon. Okay, so artichoke, sour cream, mayo, cream cheese, parmesan, garlic, and dill. All right, so now we'll stir all this up together, put it in our little 8x8 baking dish. And my 8x8 here is like really simple. If you had like a really cute baking dish that was about that same size, I would put it in there because then you have a very cute serving dish that's ready to go. Because you're not gonna wanna take this out to serve it. It's served from the baking dish. So I should have thought about that and like found a little cuter one, but I didn't. And this isn't like ugly, it's just not cute, but it's very nice and clean cut, simple. The simple pan for the simple artichoke dip. All right, that's it. Glop it down in there. Glop. Okay, then I'm just gonna spread it out a little bit and then we're gonna bake it. That's it. And it tastes pretty good. Okay, now I can't let all that go, so I love spatulas, rubber spatulas. Aren't they just like this is so clean. I could practically put it back in my cupboard. It's just super clean. You don't waste any little bites of food, which is, you know, my personal thing. I like to get it all off of there, and then I'm gonna clean this up here because I don't want that to get all brown and yucky for when I serve it. So now I got my crostinis in here, and they are looking very pale still. So I think what I'm gonna do is move my crostinis to the bottom, put this on the top, and then my crostinis will have a little more heat and they'll get hotter faster, which is okay. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll throw this in. Okay, so now I'm gonna set my timer for 10 minutes because I wanna check my crostinis, but normally I bake my artichoke dip for 20 minutes. So I'll be back in 10 or 20 minutes based on how it's all looking. Okay, we'll be back. I am back and my crostinis have been in for 12 minutes, but I'm gonna take them out and show you what they look like. So that's what they are. So I realized I really didn't keep track of how much time they were in before I put in the artichoke dip. So I'm thinking it was what, like 10 minutes maybe? So 20 minutes. So see how these two are like super brown, and then these are more golden, and these are pretty light. They're pretty dark on the bottom because I have a metal pan and because I had them on the bottom of my oven. So I don't always put them on the bottom of the oven. It depends on if sometimes I make my crostini, you know, an hour or 2 before I'm going to make my dip, so then I don't have to share the oven. But even though these are quite golden, I would call it, they're going to be just fine because you want them to be really crisp. So what I'm going to do is just throw them gently, like you can hear how hard they are, right? So we're done with our crostinis, and they're just like little bitty rock hard things. They're pretty hot, obviously, right now. We'll brush all those on the floor and let the dogs get them. So now my oven is still at 400, which usually I bake my artichoke dip at 350, and I haven't turned it down just because, like, I don't want to wait any longer than I have to, right? So I set it for like 7 minutes when I pulled these out. So we'll check it in just about 5 minutes and see if they are ready to go together. All right, we'll be back. We are back, and our artichoke dip is done enough, in my opinion. You can see how it's got a little bit of brown spots on it, and some people like it to be very brown on the top. I don't always, because I figure these are brown enough. So if you want yours to be browner, obviously just leave it in longer. But this ended up being in, I think, like 17, 18 minutes at 400, and my recipe says 350 for 20 minutes. So you just wait until it's ready to your liking, and so then it should be very thick and kind of saucy, but not, you know, like crazy. So it's really, really hot, but I'm going to try one right away with my little rock hard. I'll show you how rock hard these are. Like, woo, they are crostinis. So let's see if I can do this without burning my mouth too badly. It's really, really hot. Yum. All right, so I personally like the rock hard crostinis with the very soft artichoke dip. But if you don't want to make these, or you don't like them like that, obviously you can use pita chips or tortilla chips or crackers or whatever. So you can just make this and kind of do this store-bought or whatever if you need to. But you can travel with this. I've taken out on a little like winter picnic, because this winter there's like no winter, so it was kind of easy. But I took that out like in a metal pan, you know, wrapped it up in a towel so it actually stayed pretty warm for quite a while. But it's just a fun, easy little appetizer. So there we go. Artichoke dip with homemade crostinis, which you could use in a variety of ways. Okay, thank you very much for watching Box Free with Stephanie. I hope you like the show. I hope you make artichoke dip and crostinis, and your family thinks they're just delicious. And thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.